You're listening to The Burning Truth. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, dude and dudettes. I am your host, Matt Burns, and with me for this week, I've got my partner in crime, as always, John Ballore.
Good evening.
Who, if I might say, is the voice of reasoning.
Somewhat. The voice of reason. Well, I'm UKWA's voice of reason anyway.
Yeah.
I may be also the Burning Truth's voice of reason, but that implies you don't talk sense, and that's somewhat wide of the mark, because you do.
Mm. So,
but anyway.
Either way. But then again, we both talk sense, so we can both be, because we do switch from time to time, because we do actually have sometimes outlandish ideas.
We certainly do. We may, in tonight's very busy show, express at least some of them.
No kidding. But anyway, we've got plenty to talk about. We'll just do a rundown of some of the things that we are going to be discussing. Just a bit of a category, guys. I will be leaving the first subject off just in case, because of the nature. It's due to you'll see why we've not covered it into the content list, because it's more of a tribute. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking most likely, because yes, we have been off. We did miss last week's episode. That was due to massive busy schedules. And
was it ever?
It was.
However,
what?
I was going to say, however, we made it through. We're still alive, and so we're back.
That we are. And as some of you may have known from, I think, not last week, but the week before, that I was doing the episode by myself. Then we had no episode, and now we're back to full force.
Wonderful,
anyway,
wonderful. Back at full strength.
Correct. But anyway, some of the topics we're going to be covering, which is some of them are going to be from 2 weeks ago, potentially.
A little.
One of them is going to be the fact that Jey Uso was arrested.
Slightly controversial.
Then we've also got Impact wrestlers turning up on Raw.
You mean not the other way around? Shocker. Ooh.
Yeah, pretty much. But we can also talk about that as well. We're then going to be discussing the current event. Well, our thoughts and views on the 24/7 championship.
Brace yourself. Soapboxes are polished and ready to go for that one.
Pretty much. And then we've got to talk a little bit about SummerSlam.
Well, in the build-up to the biggest show of the summer and its sister show, NXT TakeOver Toronto, are they in?
As well.
No, it's in Canada.
Correct, and of course we're going to be talking about some Ruben matches, and potentially, we will at one point be mentioning about Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins again. But anyway,
Soapbox is getting a double workout.
Then we've got to discuss about a British wrestling company closing its doors and everything, and how it was announced and everything. And then we've got to do a bit of self-plugging this week, especially with it being for UKWA, especially when it's just around the corner, which
Ready
is
for war.
Be talking about some of the matches that have been announced for UKWA's Ready for War, which is taking place next week, but more on that later on. But anyway,
all of that later on, because first we have a hard topic.
Yes, unfortunately, this is something when, as soon as I spotted it, I felt as though, yes, a lot of wrestlers on The Burning Truth, we've normally sent out posts in regards to it. I felt personally as if I did that, we would not have been able to do it justice.
Just a little. I completely see where you're coming from with that.
Especially in regards to the person in question. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, you most likely already know this, but we decided to hold it off because we wanted to pay tribute to such an amazing legend, which is none other than Harley Race.
The King, Harley Race, no less.
Correct. The man who is synonymous with, the crown, a gentleman who is throughout known wrestling, almost, WWE's paid tribute to him. He was known from WCW days, from NWA days, through all known history. His battles against Ric Flair and everything. The thing
Basically,
is, what?
Basically, if you're a wrestling historian, if you're a fan of wrestling from before you were born, basically from the 70s and 80s, and you don't know who Harley Race is, you're not enough of a fan. I don't mean to be harsh, but it's the truth.
Personally, anybody who's a wrestling fan will know who Harley Race is.
Absolutely. It's one of those names that there's a couple of dozen that even people who go, oh, I hate wrestling, but you mention those couple of dozen names and they'll go, oh yeah, that was when it was good, or some other such misguided thing that they all seem to believe, and Harley Race is one of those.
Or it's like, yeah, but he's a legit hard man, regardless if you don't like wrestling. The point being is, the man is an absolute legend, icon to the business. So as of straight away after when I stop, we are going to do a 1 minute silence for the legend that is Harley Race, who's unfortunately did pass away, but his family did state that he did put up a fight and he was valiant till the very end and put it through. So we would like to send condolences to his family, his friends and fellow colleagues, and possibly most likely his fellow students as well. So we will commence the 1 minute silence from now. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, a 1 minute silence for the legendary Harley Race. You will be missed.
Rest in peace.
Right, now to go from that topic into... It's a serious topic, but at the same time could be turned a little bit light-hearted, especially in regards to what happened 2 weeks ago, which is the fact that we're going to discuss in regards to what happened to Jey Uso.
Yeah, it's not sure where you can go with this that be considered light-hearted. To be honest, it's fairly serious, but okay.
It is a serious matter, but I'll explain why it's light. Like it can be considered at one point a little bit light-hearted, but notice the words I said can be considered a little bit. But yes, the subject is very, very serious in regards to what has gone on. Now, 2 weeks ago on Raw, they had the whole Raw reunion. Now, at the start of the show, we had John Cena coming out with the Usos and everything. No, John Cena out first, and then the Usos coming out, and then going back and forth. And John Cena made a crack at the Usos, because they took a crack at him. That he decided to bring up about the fact that you look both just like your mug shots, because they both had been arrested. Now that wasn't something that was recent. That was from a while back. Something that is common knowledge. Now, unfortunately, what ended up happening, they gave out a shout out to the police, the county police and everything, and say, big up to them for doing your job and everything. Now, unfortunately, Jey Uso was then 3 days later. I think it was 3 days later, or was it 2?
I think you're right at 3, but I'm not 100% certain.
It was about 2 or 3 days later. Unfortunately, he ended up being arrested again for a DUI.
That's driving under the influence, just in case you're not sure.
Which can be ranging from alcohol to substances, but at the moment, I think it was most likely drinking, from what was gathered. A bit of drinking disorders, potentially. So unfortunately, due to drinking, an issue has escalated, and this is a bit of a concern because this is not the first time that Jey Uso has been brought up on this.
No, absolutely not. And it, while I've no doubt WWE will do as they do to all present and indeed past WWE superstars, they will offer to both accommodate and pay for rehab if it's required.
If it's required.
If it's required. I want to point out that is the crucial point there. If it is required, it's just a bit of an unfortunate situation to catch yourself in. I mean, especially the same thing twice.
Mm-hmm. Now, this could be just a bit of a small hiccup potentially, and caught on a bad day. It can happen. But regardless of it, a lot of people have been stating some of their concerns in regards to it, and fingers crossed that hopefully that his own work colleagues are keeping an eye out on him, making sure he's being well behaved and everything. And fingers crossed that should be the case.
And yeah, fingers crossed that should be an end to it.
Pretty much. Now let's move on to the next subject, which is from the very same night, if I'm not mistaken.
Again, I'll take your word for it.
Which is Did anybody notice? Because we are going to have to bring up Raw Reunion again. And did anybody notice that somebody appeared on Raw who is currently, and at that time, currently still contracted to Impact Wrestling?
Ooh, that's got everyone thinking, apart from all the smart Alex who are just going, yeah, I know who it was, and they're shouting it at the broadcast. Yeah, we can't hear you, but we understand that you know, okay? For those of you that don't, he is the whole freaking show.
Let's just say it is the whole effing show, because it's not swearing.
Technically not.
It's not.
He's also, in his persona on Monday Night Raw, one of a kind.
No kidding. He is none other than RVD, Rob Van Dam. Now, this is interesting because of the fact of he was under the contract with Impact Wrestling. Now, this is no invasion angle. This is no publicity stunt or anything. This might shock you. WWE actually got permission, and Impact Wrestling allowed it. And we're all on board for the idea.
On the grounds that WWE these days doesn't really take seriously the idea of, it's our talent. They can't go there, and we can't have theirs, unless, let's say, you're a direct rival that might actually take money from them. And all I can surmise is, and it will probably pain anyone in the Impact Wrestling office to hear this, but all I can surmise is WWE did it by the book because they no longer feel Impact Wrestling is a direct threat. And therefore, I'm sure, to be honest, they felt it was beneficial to have one of their guys, even if it is a former WWE guy anyway, back on the mainstream.
Possibly, but it was only for one night only. And on top of that, the interesting thing about it is the fact that then you also got some Impact footage being slipped into the WWE Network, if I'm not mistaken, a part of Table for Three, which, if I'm not mistaken, involved the Hardys and Hurricane.
Yeah, well, WWE has made no secret of the fact that, is it the Fight Network?
Because yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing this through the internet. Yes, we are live, but both myself and John Bloor aren't in the same room.
In fact, we are many hundreds of miles apart. The wonders of modern technology, everyone.
Correct.
However, yeah, the point I was trying to make before the Gremlins decided to chew through the cables was, is it the Fight Network that owns the Impact Wrestling / TNA tape library?
I think I'm not 100% sure. It might be part of it.
I think it might be the Fight or something similar. But either way, WWE acknowledge whenever they use footage from that, even tell you where you can see events and past things from various companies, including Impact Wrestling, on that, and don't seem to be too fussed about, the fact that wrestling exists outside WWE, which, frankly, is wonderful, and long may it continue.
And it's been happening for quite some time, because if you would like some incidences of that, ready for this? Case in point, ICW. Triple H, Pete Dunne being there with the WWE UK Championship when he had it at the time, and then having Triple H come out.
Indeed, and also the other companies, such as Progress Wrestling. I'm just trying to think. Evolve. IPW UK, Evolve, that WWE acknowledge and credit for footage that they borrow of mainly NXT guys, but sometimes guys in the main roster. Even Ring of Honor, even basically they use footage from, I think they've even acknowledged Pro Wrestling Guerrilla in the past. When they use footage of their NXT and or main roster guys in their previous lives, pre-WWE, they acknowledge where they got the footage from. And like I say, that's a good thing.
Which is really smart, because then at the same time, that is WWE giving back to the independent scene. Yes, they are taking from the independent scene with the NXT stuff and everything, but at the same time, they are giving back by doing promotions like that, saying please support independent wrestling. Because at the same time, WWE are seeing it as, yes, keep making independent grow, because it's going to also at the same time benefit them in the long run as well.
Absolutely.
It's all swings and roundabouts. Now, the only company I'm pretty sure that WWE are not going to be helping out is probably AEW.
Yeah, I'm guessing not, but only really on the grounds that I want competition, damn it. Vince McMahon genuinely wants a company that will challenge his company, that will force them both to be better.
And, of course, New Japan Wrestling as well, if I'm not mistaken. But at the same time, that's because they're, whenever they're doing massive events, because they know they're actually getting really big, as such, they are putting big events on at the same time. Just like how we had certain events like Smackville suddenly creeping up and everything.
Yeah. But no, it just benefits WWE in the long run, because the more promotions from, well, not just the rest of North America, but the rest of the world, that they are on good speaking terms with, means the more potential talent from the never-ending talent pool they get to cherry pick from.
Correct. Could not have said that any better. But unfortunately, I need to just bring. We'll return to this subject straight after, but we need to get back to the original subject, which is the fact that we had RVD on Raw. Now, what I did find a bit worrying as well, and it could be part of the deal with Impact Wrestling. Did anybody watch Impact Slammiversary?
Personally, no. I'm sure a couple of people are shouting at their broadcast right now, going, yeah, I did, but I didn't personally. So, go on, what are you getting at?
Well, he was revealed just recently on Impact Wrestling a former WWE wrestler, has left WWE to join Impact Wrestling, and he's been. The thing is, I think the fact that he's left WWE and gone to Impact is probably doing him so much more. Because I will say, he is probably getting paid less, but he's going to be getting used more.
I'm struggling to guess who that is. I mean, I've got a name in my mind, but I genuinely don't know.
All I'll say to you is at Slammiversary, he popped into the ring. The shape of this guy is you can't mistake it. However, Impact did manage to do a very sneaky thing on his second when he actually revealed himself. I'll give him props for that.
Okay.
Because he actually managed to find a double of this person. How? I have to question. Because it's absolutely genius. Especially, all I'll say to you is, his name. You could probably his name is from is a certain creature, an animal, which will narrow it down.
I'm struggling because Luchasaurus is signed to AEW, so it's definitely not him.
Nope, not Luchasaurus.
I'm also struggling to think of people who have a unique and unmissable shape.
He is
like
he has wrestled in
not
ECW, original ECW. He was the last ECW champion, as in television and also main champion.
Original or reformed?
Original. Go on.
Yeah, the animal thing is what gave that away. It's Bobby Lashley. No, I'm kidding. It's Rhino.
Of course. But hang on. As soon as you asked if it was the remake of it, do you actually know who the last ECW champion was for the WWE version?
Well, apparently I'm wrong, but I thought it was Bobby Lashley. Hence why I said that.
You're going to be quiet here. Shocked at this. You ready for this?
How shocked? Go on. Was it Hornswoggle?
Nope. Not that bad.
Was it Vince McMahon?
Nope. It's somebody.
Big Daddy V, may he rest in peace.
Nope. It's somebody. When they put this title on him, he should have suddenly disappeared. And then when he was on the main roster, he had the Intercontinental Championship, which almost put the Intercontinental Championship into obscurity. Oops.
Johnny Nitro? I have no idea.
You ready?
Yeah.
I'll just say this here is what you call domination.
Now, when you said this here, I said this here. It made me think of Trevor Murdoch, but I think you might be referring to Ezekiel Jackson.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever happened to him?
He ended up going to Lucha Underground. He then did the first season there, and I think he's now possibly retired. I think.
So much potential just gone away. Such a shame. Anyway, he was the last ever. Okay, that's fair enough. That's strange.
But anyway,
I'd never have guessed that.
But yeah, anyway, back onto the original fact. Rhino is also on Impact Wrestling, so straight away, a lot of people saying, well, but the thing is, it's still a great idea. But the issue was, when he turned up to Slammiversary, he ended up getting in the ring, but he kept his face covered, hit the goal, and pretty much left. But he was popular. The fans knew who it was, but they couldn't say his name or who it was. Officially, because of the fact that he was still contracted to WWE.
Yes.
Until when they actually finally revealed him on Impact Wrestling, which was none other than Rhino. The impressive thing about it is, he's got a unique shape.
Yes. Like you were saying, they managed to find someone who actually looks like him.
Who looks like him, get in the ring as Moose. No, not Moose. As Michael Elgin, as he's about to surprise Mark Elgin, cuts him off with a big boot and starts beating down on him, thinking to himself, so was this his way of getting his heat back? And all of a sudden, a second guy comes slipping in. I'm like, really?
So what? The lookalike guy,
Body shape wise, was similar.
and he was beating Michael Elgin down. That's confusing.
No. Mark Elgin was beating down the Rhino, the first person who I
The
thought was
lookalike.
Rhino.
I see. Yeah.
And then Rhino comes out. The actual Rhino turns up and pretty much gores the hell out of him.
I see. There is one slight way that they could have made pretty much anyone be a Rhino lookalike. Padding.
Potentially, but we're not just talking about a little bit of padding. We're talking the full barrel shape, shoulder size. You'll need to see it for yourself.
Yeah, I believe you.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we digress. We have talked about it quite a bit, but I just need to return back to a little bit of the subject. Where were we before we returned?
Hang on, I can't think. Were we talking about? Hang on, let me just rewind back. The last ECW champion.
No, before that.
Cut back a bit. Have we moved on from the Usos getting arrested? Or one of them?
We moved on.
We're
from
talking.
there.
Oh yes, Rob Van Dam and other non-WWE contract appearing on Raw, contracted talent appearing on.
Correct.
Was it called Raw Reunion?
Yes, we had plenty of people turning up. Then on top of that, we've got it's good the fact that you've got WWE who are now doing favours for other companies, and yes, we also know that he won't be doing this. He won't be doing any association with AEW and everything. But anyway, unfortunately, the original topic I was going to rehash and possibly rediscuss is suddenly lost to me. And if I do remember it, I'll have to return to it.
There is. I'm not sure what you were going to say, but if we could lead into that, there is one other company with whom WWE didn't have particularly warm relations. The relations with them were, let's say, frosty. Although I think they warmed over time. That it's no longer an issue because they've closed.
Who's that?
Defiant.
No, we'll get onto that a bit later.
Ah, okay.
But anyway...
Oh, I just thought that was a nice segue in there, to be honest. But okay.
No. You know what? Forget it. We'll segue into it.
Yeah, like I say, initially, in their initial guise as What Culture Pro Wrestling, I don't think I think they set out to deliberately try and provoke WWE to, poke the bear with a sharp stick.
At first it was, but then it went away.
Yeah. However, they quickly backtracked from that. So, as I say, any frosty initial relationship, I think, thawed fairly quickly. But either way, in their brief run as What Culture Pro Wrestling, and then when they rebranded as Defiant, they carved a niche for themselves, but sadly,
They didn't take away from WWE, in the end. Because taken into account during WCPW days, you got the event Fight Back where YouTube was monetizing thingies, stuff and everything. And then you got certain gentlemen from WCPW basically stating that they weren't being scrutinized. WWE were also being scrutinized by YouTube and everything. A lot of YouTube revenue and this was due to the adpocalypse, which we have already covered at one point in the past. But, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we are actually discussing WCPW/Defiant Wrestling is because
they have
actually officially announced that they have decided to close their doors. With their last show, which was, I believe, Built to Destroy, going out to the fans on YouTube for free.
Well, that's one heck of a generous way to go.
No, they already announced that one beforehand, and when I saw this, I thought that's a bit odd that they give it out for free. But unfortunately, we've then eventually found out that on for WCPW, well, Defiant Wrestling. They ended up closing the doors, announcing it through social media. And I, for one, I will state, I'm saddened to see it go.
Yeah, I'm gutted. I mean, there are a heck of a lot of wrestling promotions, and some, your reaction is kind of, oh, have they? Oh, I kind of didn't even know they were there. But WCPW/Defiant came onto the stage in a ball of fire. They made themselves aware that they made everyone aware that they were there. And as I said, I thought had carved themselves a suitable niche for which they could continue, but apparently not. So they are no more. They joined the incredibly large list of no longer active wrestling promotions.
And do you know what the funny thing about it is?
Go on.
A lot of people turn around and say, "Oh, what did they do? What did they do?" Look at the damn former roster that were on there.
Yes. I think you'll find a lot of the NXT UK roster have passed through the doors.
Yeah.
So what did they do? Gave a platform to a lot of talent, which is now getting a nationwide and indeed worldwide platform.
And a lot
so
of
their
people,
role was not to be understated.
Correct. And if you want some examples of names in regards to Joseph Connors, Ali Guerrero, Joe Coffey,
indeed,
straight away. Then you've got the aerial assassin, Al Fantasma.
Guys who aren't necessarily in WWE yet.
Ricochet.
Wow, yeah, there you go. Everyone's favourite high-flying Irishman.
Big Damo. Or Killian Dane.
Either of them there. Yeah, Killian Dane.
Matt Hardy on there.
You're just flat out blanking the fact that I keep calling Ricochet Irish now, aren't you? You're just no-selling it.
Well, I didn't even actually pick up on it. I didn't even hear it. Good God. I didn't exactly help that. I followed it up with damn Killian Dane.
Well, that's what I thought. I was like, is he just basically no-selling this by mentioning someone who is Irish?
Oh, God.
Northern Irish, at least.
He's not Irish, he's Scottish.
He's not. He's from Belfast.
Is he?
Have you not seen his
Scottish.
NXT promos?
He's not Scottish, he's Irish. My mistake. Oh, my God.
He's Northern Irish. He's from Belfast.
Right.
He's not called the Beast of Belfast because he's from Scotland.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to state right for the record, I apologise. I've just goofed up.
Hey, everybody makes mistakes. You've apologised for it. You've realised. That's fine. Let's move on. And
if this does somehow pop up on Botchamania, you're welcome, Matthew, for the content.
You're absolutely welcome. And I'm going to go on holiday to Scotland next year. I'm going to Belfast.
Oh, get lost!
Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. He will get me back for this. The next time I make even the slightest screw up, Mr. Matt Burns will be on it like a highly inappropriate metaphor for a family show. But he will. Trust me.
Let's just say this. The thing is, yes, we goof up from time to time. It's good that we've got to rib each other, of course.
Human. It's a bit of fun.
It is.
There's no seriousness in it.
There is. And there's no malice behind it whatsoever. But also, Are you ready for this as well?
I am bracing myself as we speak.
Did you see what happened at ICW? And this is here's another good point in case of WWE helping outside companies. Another reason.
Okay.
Now, you ready for this? Unfortunately, at the same time, it can also be considered as scrutiny as well. You've also got the fact that WWE also highlighted, as you said, progress and everything. And we've also got WWE putting on an event for like progress on the WWE Network, good example. Another one being ICW. Yes, unfortunately, this didn't be some off show of Shug's House Party with like whole turnabout fair play with a wrestler gimmick of Just Justice. Because originally, Just Justice was originally meant to be facing, I believe, Jeff Jarrett.
All right.
Now, unfortunately, Jeff Jarrett ended up having to pull out, and as such, which Jeff, if I'm not mistaken, just the character was sort of a bit upset that they couldn't end up doing that angle where the Justice gimmick ended up going away and retiring. He wanted to end it with Jeff Jarrett. Unfortunately, couldn't do it because of certain. We don't know why WWE pulled Jeff Jarrett out, or if it was Jeff Jarrett who pulled out, or if there was any reason behind it. However, WWE instead, right, decided to throw somebody else in.
Yes. The disappointment duly averted.
Or should I say, threw in two?
Yeah. You can't have one, but we'll give you two instead. How's that for a deal?
Do you know who it was?
I do, but I'm not going to spoil your surprise. Do tell everyone.
Biggest one being freaking Kushida.
Yes. Possibly the hottest prospect on NXT right now.
No kidding. Especially with the fact that, if I'm not mistaken, was it Kushida who won the WCPW World Cup?
It could well have been.
I think it was. Nice little bit of trivia there for you. But anyway,
there you go. Yeah. So
back on the track. Not only did we have that, they also provided somebody who was also in WWE NXT UK, and the fact of somebody who actually got popular through ICW, none other than Kenny Williams.
Kenny Williams, the man whose nickname on NXT UK is awful. I'm sorry, there's no two ways about it.
Go on.
Have you not heard it?
Nope. It doesn't exist to me.
Good. Let's leave it that way. I'm not saying it. I'm not dirtying my tongue that.
No. I've heard it, but you'll need to state it now that you brought it up. I'm not stating
it. No. If you can say it doesn't exist to you, then it just shouldn't exist.
Fair enough. We'll move on.
He is and always will be the bollocks.
Correct. But anyway, we digress. But anyway, there's many happy memories in regards to, wrestling, because WCPW and Defiant Wrestling did bring up a lot of good points, especially the fact that you also got Drew on there again when he ended up, reinventing himself and ended up banging on WWE's doors because of such, turning up at ICW, turning up at Defiant Wrestling and everything. It was sort of a new platform that allowed certain wrestlers to go out there and showcase themselves. You've then got also, Rampage, of course, making a name for himself as such as well.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, it's sad to say that WCPW, Defiant Wrestling, have closed their doors. Now,
that was the crux of the point that we were trying to make. I think that's wrapped that up nicely. Yep. Let's move on.
Let's move back over to the American seas.
Indeed.
And we've got to talk. Go on.
No, I'm sorry. I was merely going to say this coming weekend is quite a big one.
It is. But we need to discuss something before that.
As a preamble to that. Okay then.
It was a subject, if I'm not mistaken, that you wanted to discuss.
Yes. Something that has become, for better or for worse, a fixture in the WWE landscape, although which I'm 99.989% certain will not feature at all this coming weekend of big shows.
It most likely won't be on SummerSlam, possibly.
No. And yeah, it's one of those things. I'm sure it was done with good intentions. It's designed as, I think, basically something to keep people entertained throughout the... I can't believe it's still 3 hours of Raw on a Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
And to give well, in theory at least, the prestige of a championship to those on the WWE roster who may not get anywhere near any of the others.
Possibly.
We are, of course, talking about the WWE Marmite 24/7 Championship. So nicknamed by me because you either love it or you hate it, for those of you who don't get that link.
Right. I'll let you finish. I'll let you state what you need to say first.
Well, basically, right, it has its pluses and its negative points.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's great. Yeah, it's giving guys who would never normally get anywhere near a championship in WWE the opportunity to say, I was a WWE champion. But my question to you is, if you're in WWE and you need to be able to say, I was a WWE champion, asterisk at the bottom of the page in font size 4 being for 12 seconds on Monday Night Raw for 1 week. And then I was pinned while I was, in inverted commas, asleep by R-Truth, or however the hell it happens. Then do you really need a championship that badly? I get that it's mainly designed for laughs, and when they play it for them, it's great. But the thing is, yeah, I don't think WWE quite knows where the line is drawn between. WWE in this respect is almost like Ricky Gervais, where the line is drawn between. That's quite funny, and oh my god, where do I put my eyes? That's the most cringe-worthy thing I've ever seen. WWE doesn't seem to know. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, half of the things it does in respect for the 24/7 Championship is great, it's funny, it's entertaining television. The other half makes you watch through your hands and just go, is this how far we've fallen? Really? Oh, and as I did state to Matt Burns before we started on air tonight, anything that can mean that R-Truth can legitimately claim that he is a 10-time WWE champion doesn't really ring a bell as being a good thing in my book. No disrespect to R-Truth, but you can see what I mean.
Yeah. Now, in case you're wondering, ladies and gentlemen, you probably just noticed that I've stayed quiet through that entire moment.
Let's be honest. Let's call it what it was, a tirade there.
Oh, you call that a tirade?
No, I was being remarkably restrained, and I thought I was keeping everything quite calm and under control, considering how much of a rant I could have done. And now, I get the feeling...
I'm really sorry for this.
I get the feeling, ladies and gentlemen, now is time for a tirade. The soapbox is polished, Matt Burns is stood on it, and here we go.
This is essentially, if John Bloor was actually here, would be the part where, you know, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I don't drink alcohol, but I'll be literally stating to John Bloor, here, hold my drink.
Yeah, because let's be honest. Yeah, I tried to be diplomatic there. I get the distinct impression Mr. Matt Burns is not going to be.
No,
so
I'm not going to beat around the bush. Especially
okay. I'm glad I'm already sat down. Away you go. Right,
ladies and gentlemen, this is my actual personal view of the 24/7 Championship. Yes, I'm going to be speaking some good points about it. Yes, like Bloor said, it does actually allow us to see some wrestlers to go, yay, I turned up on Raw, or yay, I turned up on SmackDown. Take into account there's that many workers at WWE. WWE are now having to try and find ways to get people on their freaking show because people are actually getting paid a wealthy contract to stay at freaking home and do nothing. They have got that many workers. Now, the first thing I would have been potentially doing from that is if you've got that many workers, either create an extra hour, create more TV shows, or something. Or here's a better idea. Why don't you somehow subcontract the workers to other companies for independent wrestlers if you've got that many workers?
Well, basically, I completely agree with you. When the opportunity to get on WWE television means you basically spend half an hour in the locker room putting your gear on to spend 3 seconds on Raw being humiliated in the pursuit of, and probably 99% of the time, the unsuccessful chase for what is basically the WWE comedy title, you should probably reassess your options. I've got to be honest.
Apologies for the small blipper there, which is a bit, the internal phone system going off, but that's just been cancelled. But anyway, let me just state this. Now, if you are having to turn up now, it's great that it is entertaining the fact that some of the stuff I will state that R-Truth and I believe the former Rockstar Spud,
now known as Drake Maverick,
has been producing some absolute golden moments.
Absolutely.
But they were champions. Now, at the same time, I also find it very damaging because the fact that you've got EC3 on there, you've also got people who are part of a certain group that was in NXT popping up. Eric Young.
Yeah,
and it just the problem that you've got is, yes, I understand that they're not going back to the old days of let's just beat the hell out of each other with weapons. They're doing little bits, introducing it small and incrementally at the time. But yes, it is the 24/7 championship. Yes, we know that Mick Foley has rumoured been wanting to fight, is considered fighting for the championship. But do you know what the interesting factor is? You do know that the original idea of that championship was meant to be defended in the final hour of Raw originally, if I'm not mistaken, by Mick Foley's announcements, and instead it's now being covered all the time 24/7, which is a great idea. But why would Mick Foley state the final hour dedicated to it? They shouldn't be saying that.
No.
Right, on top of that, and I haven't even finished yet in regards to it. Yes, I understand that they're having to think of new silly ways, and putting them in boxes that are going to be shipped off into a plane and everything. If I'm not mistaken, there is some fantasy in the fact that they would not actually allow R-Truth to go onto a plane in a damn fucking... I apologise for the language there, for being a box on an airplane.
Packing crate, yeah, absolutely.
In a packing crate, because if I'm not mistaken, storage units on planes actually have their the air oxygen taken out to create certain, to make it less heavy.
Yes.
So in translation, if he was in that box, he'd be suffocating.
Pretty much, yeah.
So yes, you've also got to bend a bit of the reality, and I haven't finished yet.
Oh, I believe it.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
I actually thought it was quite clever that Mike Kanellis got the championship.
I thought that was potentially a masterstroke. He got hold of the championship, a championship, which validated his on-screen character and his whining and moaning about not getting opportunities. It was an opportunity, and he got it, and that was great. And then, as soon as they'd put the wheels on that particular car...
Wait, we'll get back to that. At the same time, you've also got him in a bit of a feud with Drake Maverick as well, if I'm not mistaken. Especially on the, 205 Live, if I'm not mistaken. So,
including this week, an unsanctioned match between the two of them.
Yes, now, what's so interesting about this is the fact that, yes, that's a great idea. I'm liking this. It's a great storyline. Getting some momentum. And
because then possibly even they could have had a situation in the future where Maverick and Kanellis fight for the championship.
Championship. And possibly somehow R-Truth gets involved.
Yeah, more than likely, bearing in mind he's already won the title 10 times.
Correct.
Did I mention that?
But what did they do?
Yeah, instead of having any of that happen, as I said, as soon as they could put the wheels on that particular race car, they forgot the bolt gun and they all fell off again in spectacular fashion.
Right.
Because...
that's understandable, but anyway.
They took the title straight back off Mike about 20 minutes after he'd won it, I think, on the same episode of Raw.
And what did they do? Who is the current champion?
The current champion is Mike's wife, Maria.
Now, how did that happen?
Because Maria channeled her inner finger poke of doom era Kevin Nash, and basically bitch slapped Mike into it and just was lay down. Lay down.
Pretty much just got him to lie down, put his foot on, and then dubbed herself the first pregnant woman to be a champion.
Which, whilst both true and fair enough, it's not the way I would have gone, let's be honest.
I am all up for the idea, and right, nothing against that. I just feel as though, what else could they do other than have someone pin her while she's sleeping to get the belt off her? Because if she's pregnant...
exactly.
They can't do any wrestling to get that belt back?
Yes.
Unless, do they do a second submission?
I have no idea how they're going to get around that.
As in, somebody grabs her around the throat, chokes her a little bit, and she says, I give. Yeah,
exactly. Did you know
you'll have to just bear with me for a minute. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay, that's cool. Interesting fact to Phil, while Matt Burns has vanished. Did you also know that because she has currently now been the champion for more than 6 days, we're recording this on a Sunday evening, she will probably be the champion into a 7th day by tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. She now has, in the top 5 of longest reigns, the longest current reign being, I believe, Drake Maverick's 13 days for his second reign. He's had 4, by the way, as if this gets any worse.
Was it R-Truth?
No, longest combined reign. Number of days for combined reigns, but nope, R-Truth's previous longest was 12 days. Drake Maverick held it for 13. R-Truth then held it again for 6 before Mike Kanellis won it. Maria will have had it for 7 by tomorrow night on Raw.
That's understandable. But anyway,
yeah,
it just makes it a bit more difficult to get the championship off here.
Yes. Here, would you like a full list of everyone who's already held the title? How long's it been there for? What, like 2-3 months?
Go on. Pretty much.
Okay.
No, we don't want a full list. No.
Yeah. Go on.
If anybody wants to look that up, please just go onto Wikipedia or a Wikipedia website, or if you want to go on the WWE Network, onto the WWE website as such and check it out there, which, we'll recommend it instead.
No, I won't give you a list of all of them, but I will just say there have already been 17 individuals as champion.
Wow.
Most of them only once, and most of them for mere minutes at a time, but nonetheless, 17. And of that, 2 of them have held it twice, 1 of them have held it 4 times, Drake Maverick, and R-Truth is already in reign number 10, as I said.
Correct.
Yeah. It's one of those things, I'm sure a TV exec, I believe it was pitched by a TV executive as a way to, as I said, get through the interminable 3 hours. I mean, the wonderful entertainment that is Monday Night Raw, but dear me, in typical WWE fashion, it has been, well, as much of a negative as a positive, to be honest, but then this is WWE. All publicity is apparently good publicity. So, yeah, there's that.
Correct. But anyway.
Do you know what WWE is seriously missing right now?
Go on.
Someone, and they're not missing him, I can almost guarantee that, as much as he's not missing them, but CM Punk was the first person that came to mind, although of the current roster, with the way his character is going at the moment, maybe Kevin Owens can fill those shoes. Someone who can win that title and literally just hold on to it for months and months and months and be like, this title is a joke. Literally take it at face value and just be the kind of person who holds it just to spite everyone else, if you know what I mean.
Possibly, but at the moment we've got Kevin Owens going against the Authority, almost in a bit of an Austin angle at the moment. But
Yeah, I was just thinking as well, a bit further down the line, maybe if he is thwarted at every turn in his attempts to get the WWE title, Universal title, I can't remember which brand he's on, or whether it even
SmackDown.
matters anymore.
SmackDown.
Yeah, so the WWE Championship, if he's thwarted in his attempts to get that, there is always the back door of, hey, look, I've got this. This is still a title. You can't stop me. Approach, possibly.
Possibly, but at the same time, I feel as though if you're in the 24/7 picture, it's not a good place to be.
No, I totally agree.
But anyway, we digress. We've got to discuss some actual ideas, which is we've got a big event that's happening next week, if I'm not mistaken, straight away, which is WWE SummerSlam.
Oh, you mean the warm-up event?
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, WWE have got that arse about face, pardon my French. Yeah, the warm-up event is going on the day after the main event, which is NXT TakeOver Toronto. But what can you do?
The thing is, I'm just going to jump straight into it. We're not going to be talking rumour matches yet. I'm just going to hit the elephant straight in the room, which is the fact that we've got this one match happening again.
Oh, it's one of them, is it? What is it? John Cena versus Randy Orton for the 735th time?
The difference is between Cena and Orton, at least they actually spread it out over years.
Oh, I see.
Not under a short time scale. We've got Lesnar in a championship picture again against Seth Rollins.
Yeah, a match that no one wants, no one needs, and why can I just see Lesnar winning even though it's complete opposite of what makes good business sense or makes anyone care?
And do you know why he's going to win?
Go on.
He's legitimising the business. He isn't.
No, he really isn't.
As much as, yes, I did like Lesnar in the past when he won the championship from Kurt Angle.
Yeah, let's be honest. His entire run this time around, since he came back, what is it, like 4 years ago now? And he's made about 10 appearances since then. It's been an anticlimax, and he needs to just go away.
I understand having him on now and again is a special attraction.
Yeah, but don't give him the title if he's not going to be there.
Yes, he is a badass. Yes, and everything, but and I understand that that he's that much of a badass. You'll take his mystique away if he is not going for the championship. But answer me this: name me another person who could be considered a top contender who makes very rare appearances.
Mick Foley?
He's one.
No.
But could be an actual contender.
I do believe I can really quite spectacularly feel the word finally galloping its way over the horizon at this point.
I actually didn't think of that one.
Ah, well, there you go, because he counts.
He can. How about The Undertaker, who just recently signed his new legendary, lifetime deal?
Legends contract, yeah.
Which is the fact that he will not be making any appearance for outside WWE anymore, as such. But he is mostly without WWE permission, of course. But
yeah,
he could be considered a contender. Okay, he might not be, at his A game now compared to how he was in the past, especially with the whole Goldberg versus Undertaker match that did actually end up taking place, which was not the best. But Taker can still go, as many of you might have seen from Extreme Rules, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's a fair point.
Now, the fact that we've got Lesnar versus Seth again, and here's an interesting fact. This is one I almost considered mentioning to Blore before the show started, but I decided to surprise him with it. Interesting fact.
Oh, right, yeah. You told me about that you had a fact, but obviously you didn't say what it was. So,
Name
right,
me,
I'm sat down.
name me two wrestlers who have both won the Money in the Bank contract and cashed in on each other and been
Hang on.
successful.
What? As in, they've both won and cashed in on the other person?
Successfully.
Ooh.
Can
John
you name
Cena
them?
and Randy Orton.
Nope. Incorrect. Are you ready for this?
Damien Sandow and The Miz.
Oh, this means that Sandow would have to cash in on the Miz, and Miz would have to cash in on Sandow.
Yeah, I know. I've run out of guesses already. Just tell me.
Lesnar and Seth Rollins are the only ones that have done it.
Huh. No, that's true. I completely forgot that the whole Beast Slayer thing came off the back of Rollins having the Money in the Bank.
It wasn't actually Beast Slayer, that wasn't, but the fact that he'd already beaten technically Lesnar, but by opinion Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I did not know that, but there you go.
But at the time, Lesnar was the champion, so in actual fact, it's him taking the championship away from Lesnar.
Yes. Bizarre.
But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting fact. And probably one of the good things that has probably come away from Lesnar actually taking the damn title from Seth.
Yes. Interesting little.
It's the only benefits I can think of, but other than that, Seth.
I tell you what.
What?
That's all of the main SummerSlam things, such as that so far, are generating negative headlines. All the NXT TakeOver Toronto, however, far more positive ones.
Now there is some good match, one or two good matches that are possibly going to be on SummerSlam. Just case in point, is an example: Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt.
That could be one hell of a match, provided, yeah.
However, I can't see.
Has someone in WWE head office been told about who Bray Wyatt is now? Is he gonna be allowed to win a match once a year on pay-per-view?
Possibly. Because rumour has it, it's not going to be the Demon Balor, it's going to be the Extraordinary Man Balor against
the patron of the Firefly Funhouse.
Oh, no, the Fiend version of Bray Wyatt.
Oh, I see.
But anyway, that's what I'm now going to go into rumoured matches that are possibly being scheduled. Now, rumour has it, are you ready for this? Is that we have got potentially the rumour of Undertaker versus Drew. Great idea. Absolutely like the idea of that if it does come about.
Really? Undertaker versus Drew Gulak? He's way too heavy to challenge for the Cruiserweight title.
Not Gulak.
Yeah, I know, but I couldn't resist. Sorry.
Correct. But at the same time, I find it a bit of a shame because Drew has not been on the best run lately. So
no, it's not exactly a good thing going into a match with the Undertaker to have a patchy win-loss record, is it? So I see where you're coming from with that.
Especially against Alexander. Cedric. Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, we digress. One rumour match, and this is interesting.
Yeah.
How this rumour's come about. Because rumour has it that we are going to be setting up a match between Dolph Ziggler and Goldberg.
Sorry, I just suffered from a random mid-show bout of narcolepsy there. Why?
Because recently in promos, Dolph Ziggler's been mentioning Goldberg, calling him a has-been.
We're looking at SummerSlam, just a bit of filler after probably an absolute match of the year for, I don't know, the tag team titles or something, which is entrance music, ring the bell, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3, goodbye. possibly making Ziggler's last pay-per-view match against Kevin Owens look like a 5-star classic.
And are you ready for this?
Yeah.
It's interesting that they're doing that, but at the same time, it also will help Goldberg recover his last match from his last match at WWE and be able to go out on a high.
Yes.
But at the same time, what I find so stupid is they might be presenting Goldberg against Ziggler. From what I saw on SmackDown involving Shawn Michaels, which I'm not mistaken if it was, I think it was 2 weeks ago on the SmackDown after, where somehow he's, you got Dolph super kicking Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
No.
not really.
Wouldn't Shawn Michaels have a grievance of him being super kicked by him, being hit by his own finisher?
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Pretty much. But at the same time, a lot of people are saying, yes, but he's retired from The Undertaker, and The Undertaker won't give him permission to return. Which he already has returned, if I'm not mistaken, and faced off against The Undertaker.
He already has, and yeah, in one of those, frankly, turd Middle East specials that nobody actually watches because they're garbage.
And the funny thing about it is, it's just the fact of you got him against him trying to fight for the right of the legends and Shawn Michaels. You got Miz possibly arguing with him. Then you got to go from the Miz to Shawn Michaels. Then from Michaels to Balor. Then from Balor. What are they doing?
Your guess is as good as mine. In fact, probably better because I just don't care.
Yes, he has been.
I'm sorry to be brutally honest here.
Yes, he has been bringing it up about Goldberg, but at the same time, yes, it's a good way of bringing him in, but don't keep feeding high profile matches with him, and then have him buried by Owens. He's been buried by Owens, and then him stating to Goldberg, "Yeah, you suck." Really? What weight does it carry?
It doesn't. It's almost like, well, it's kind of like the situation that Rusev finds himself in, except that for some reason Ziggler's still getting pay-per-view matches.
Mm-hmm.
Although I personally have never rated Ziggler, so he can job to whoever he likes. I don't care. But I'm just annoyed that he's stealing a spot on a pay-per-view that Rusev could have, because Rusev is a genuine talent. Or at least he was, until WWE stamped any enthusiasm he might have had out of him.
Potentially, but at the moment I do find it a shame that we do not have Rusev on our TV, because I do miss Rusev Day. I do miss Rusev. He's an absolute brilliant.
It's still Rusev Day, damn it.
If they do bring him back, and they actually make out, they get Rusev Day back, go for the full swing if you're going to turn him face. If you're going, but regardless of it, when he does come back, we want you have him knocking people out.
He needs to be
brute.
Back to when he still had a first name on NXT, when he just used to basically not get paid by the hour.
Pretty much crash.
Yep.
Pretty much.
This is what we need, but
anyway.
Well, yeah. So yeah, lots to potentially look forward to, and potentially have plenty of bathroom breaks during SummerSlam. As always, no such hint of any bathroom breaks during TakeOver Toronto.
Which, just for the record, yes, we normally do predictions this week. We aren't doing them this week, and yes, we're not going to be doing the predictions for Toronto.
No, because by next week's show it will have already happened, so we can't really do them retrospectively. That's kind of cheating.
Correct, and at the same time, we can't actually pre-record it. You can't pre-record an episode, unfortunately, due to a busy weekend.
Due to we've discussed event number 3 in terms of importance, SummerSlam, and event number 2, NXT TakeOver Toronto. We haven't discussed the most important wrestling event of this coming weekend.
Well, it might not be the most important ones to them, but it is to us.
The most important one to us, anyway, and this is our broadcast. So,
And
We are, of course, talking, ladies and gentlemen, about UKWA Ready for War from the All-Sages Civic Hall this Saturday.
10th of August. Doors open
Tickets
at
on
6.
the door.
Doors open at 6. Show starts at 6:30.
Tickets on the door or at ukwa.co.uk.com.
No. I'll get the website correct, which is www.ukwrestlingalliance.com.
That's the one.
Correct.
If you're anywhere near All-Sager, be there.
Or, if not, and you can't get there, where else can you check it?
Give it a week or so after the event, and you'll be able to watch it and listen to it in all its glory, featuring a certain voice of reason on commentary, hint, hint, on the magnificent portal that is Turnbuckle TV.
And
home to UKWA and over 25 other British wrestling promotions. I told you there were a lot.
Correct.
The princely sum of $3.99 a month. Sorry, did I say $9.99? No, I didn't. Did I say $6.99? No, I didn't.
No.
$3.99 a month.
Which $3.99 a month? Hang on, isn't that almost the equivalent to £1 a week?
It is pretty much bang on £1 a week.
Okay,
and for that you get new content on an almost weekly basis. Over 25 British wrestling promotions putting shows on there almost constantly. It's basically Netflix for wrestling. You can't afford not to have it in your life if you call yourself a wrestling fan.
For British wrestling at the moment.
Yes.
And such, but anyway, what we are going to discuss is two of the matches.
Two of the matches which have been announced. Keep your eyes peeled for UKWA social media for more match announcements over the coming week, I believe.
Correct. Also, just to make you aware as well, there could be potentially double match announcements on certain days as well.
Well, you could be announcing 2 in one day. Blimey, don't work too hard.
But we've got to get the matches out.
Well, that's true. We have only got 6 days to get them out into the public and get them excited.
Correct. But just to give a hint, we have got 2 matches officially announced, and I will cleverly hint that there is 4 more matches. However, one of the matches will almost be big enough to almost fit half the show. It's that big.
Indeed, that's massive. So, in case you're wondering, that's not one of the announced matches yet. Keep your eyes peeled, UKWA social media, for what that might be.
But anyway, we'll move on to
subtle hint.
Correct. But
but the 2 matches that have been announced,
which is Connors and Black versus the Myatt Legacy.
Now, for those of you who are already rapidly becoming big fans of UKWA, who have watched both Sugar Rush and 0 Hour, $3.99 a month on Turnbuckle TV to watch as many times as you want, fans. You will be aware of Connors and Black. You will know that the Absolute Unit and the Ginger Psycho are a tag team to be reckoned with. And if you don't know who the Myatt Legacy are, then what planet have you been living on? They may be making their UKWA debuts, but frankly, if you ask Keith to get his little black book out and have a look, it's probably about the 500th different promotion he's worked for in his long career.
Correct. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Keith has even managed to go on to the original format of World of Sport.
I do believe so, yes. He is not known on social media as Matt Veteran for no reason.
Correct. And on top of that, a nice little segue there, Keith Myers is an absolute legend, or a legend as he would state, from time to time of the sport. But they are crafty veterans, Craft and Wiley, and this is old school meets new school match, of course. But as much as the Myatt Legacy are very, very crafty, I have to give massive props to Keith Myatt, because a lot of people don't know a bit of the history, because some wrestlers don't always use their real names as such. I will state for the record, as much as some people may know my real name.
Some people Actually, no, that's not true. Nobody in the wrestling business knows my real name. So there you go.
Excuse me.
Oh, damn it. I do a podcast where I announce it to everyone, don't I? And I commentate for a wrestling show. Yeah. Silly me.
And there's also the fact that I've known you for how long, John?
Seriously, are you trying to tell me something there? Because I just don't believe you. Your real name is Matt Burns. Don't lie to me.
Okay. The thing is, I believe, Keith Myers is somebody who actually gave me my first nickname in wrestling.
I see.
Correct.
Well, there you go. Mr. Keith Myers, he is responsible for not only being a legend, but the creation of another one.
Correct. Oh, what? I'm not a legend yet.
No, not yet, but he is the reason why you will be one day, is what I'm getting at. Take the compliment. Just move on. Take the compliment.
But anyway, that match is going to be absolutely not, an absolute, anything can happen.
It's going to be an absolute copyright JR, that particular word, of a match. Rhymes with blobberpocker.
Oh, no, I was thinking, by God.
Yeah, it's going to be...
But if you notice, I didn't add the accent on, just to make sure I don't get done by
it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight between four guys who are collectively tougher than a $2 steak, if you really want to go the whole JR.
Pretty much.
Collectively and individually.
And if I'm not mistaken, it was even dubbed as a match that is potentially brothers in arms versus family.
Yes, it is. And I don't know, I'm just going to put this out there. I may be putting you on the spot slightly, but possible future ramifications for UKWA Tag Team Championship scene, perhaps?
Possibly, because there is something in the works potentially being made, but we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, we're not dropping anything more subtle or anything more direct than that subtle hint, but yeah, either way, that match is going to be
pretty much absolutely
bloody brilliant.
Correct, couldn't have said it better than myself. And that's just one match announced.
The other match that's been announced so far could possibly even trump that, because I've got to be honest.
Now, take into account, this is a match I didn't even see coming.
I did not. I don't want him to take this the wrong way, but I didn't think he had it in him. I did not think he would be this brave.
Correct. I could not have said that better myself.
He would potentially put himself at risk to that degree, but no, he has. So, one man round of applause from me to UKWA current reigning defending King of the Kingdom champion Charles Kelsey for his decision, which I'll let you announce.
Correct. And the odd thing about it is, this is somebody who has been stating that I am not his boss, even though I'm the one who pays his paychecks. And there's somebody who... What?
Odd that.
Yeah. Is stated for the record that Christopher Drew is his boss.
Even though you also pay Christopher Drew's paychecks, as much as it pains you to do so sometimes.
Yeah, but the difference is... But then again, we get little gems like what Charles Kelsey has done recently, which is he has officially made a match, and this is a match that management as a whole, both myself and Renee, fully support. I know, I'm absolutely shocked in the fact that we're both supporting Charles Kelsey in this match, because I thought he would have been ducking and diving, but he isn't. He is proving himself to be a defending champion.
Yeah.
In the fact that
however,
he is defending this championship in a open challenge match.
Namely, anyone currently affiliated to the UK wrestling scene who doesn't even have to have made an appearance on a UKWA show yet.
Correct.
Anyone on the current roster, anyone active on the UK wrestling scene who may not even have appeared in UKWA yet, that's the beauty of an open challenge. And I, for one, can't wait to see whose music hits.
Now, let me just state this. Earlier on the broadcast, you heard a phone going off, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know why you heard that? That has been one of the phone lines that has been going on and off throughout the day of people asking me, can I challenge him? Can I challenge him? Can I challenge him? And it's like, turn up and jump in the ring. But
essentially,
let me just
it's an open challenge. Nobody has been officially sanctioned as an opponent yet. So if you think you fancy your chances, bring your gear to All Sages Civic Hall.
Correct, but let me just state for the record, before anyone decides, especially fans, you have to have your wrestling license, and your credentials provided to UKWA management before you officially go out.
Yeah, you can't literally just turn up as a fan, sit in third row ringside and think, no, I can have him because you've had 10 pints of beer. No. We do not condone that. We don't want that to happen. Please don't think you can do that.
Correct. The fact that this is going to
It has to be, as I said, a healthy, active British wrestler currently on the wrestling scene. It can't just be anyone. It has to actually be a wrestler. That's we can't state that crucially enough.
Correct. And this can be anybody who is male, female, and anybody who is classified as a wrestler. You could even be out of this world. As long as you are registered as an official wrestler, you can.
Out of this world? I thought Cody Rhodes was busy and officially buried the Stardust gimmick ages ago.
I see what you did there. But anyway, the point being is, this is an absolute interesting match.
It is. Because, again, all credit to King of the Kingdom champion Charles Kelsey. He's put himself at a massive disadvantage. Because how do you prepare for potentially anybody?
And I'm going to raise the ante to hint at one of the other matches.
Ooh, this I like the sound of. Please do.
And I'll just hint in the fact that one of the matches, most likely the main event, which will be getting announced during the week, and it will most likely potentially have involve a video me officially announcing the match, because the ramifications of it are going to be absolutely epic.
Earth-shatteringly huge.
And
I think I know which match you mean, but I'm not going to say for obvious reasons.
It could potentially even make the whole landscape change.
Could change the entire landscape of the UKWA.
Potentially. But we digress. And unfortunately,
stay tuned to all of UKWA's social media feeds over the course of between now and this Saturday evening to find out what that match might be.
Definitely. Anyway, we're now going to basically state what is going to be happening for next week, which is the fact that we are most likely going to be covering the fallout of UKWA Ready for War. We are potentially going to be talking about WWE SummerSlam and, of course, doing the predictions.
Yeah, plus the fallout from NXT TakeOver Toronto, which will already have happened.
However, interesting little fact. All I'll say to you is, if we are live, it'll be almost the same as usual, but the episode could be pre-recorded, but there will be a little bit of a difference.
There will be a slight difference in that because of the need for the owner of the company and soon to be recognised as UK's number one wrestling commentator, the voice of reason, being in the same building for UKWA Ready for War, we might actually record the show from the same place.
Ooh.
Fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which is going to be absolutely knockout, pretty much interesting because we're going to actually be able to see each other's expressions.
Which will make a spectacular amount of difference because we'll also be able to see when the other person is taking a deep breath and getting ready to talk. So potentially we'll speak over each other a bit less as well. So,
Hey! Anyway,
everyone's a winner.
Correct. But anyway, we need to get down to our plugs. And you know what? Because this is something that we normally go through quickly, all I'm going to state is most of the plugs that we do actually cover. I'm just going to mention a few of them that I feel that they need to have a shout out. Otherwise, some of the regular ones that we normally have will be covered on the website as such. So I'm just going to be basically covering, some charities like Mind and Changes for Health and Wellbeing. Of course, bands like New Breed, Camens, Blackpool. Of course, we've got to fit these two in, which is Botchamania and Wrestle Crap. Welcome,
course,
Matthew.
for the lighter side of pro wrestling. Nice one, RD.
And of course, OSW Review. We also recommend you check out, YouTube as a regular because there's lots of YouTube shows, of course. We recommend you check out Geek of the Week.
Featuring none other than UK wrestling commentating stalwart and friend of this show, Magic Mark Adams.
Great guy, and I can also say the content that they do on there is absolutely amazing. Of course, we also recommend you check out We the Independents, especially with the fact that you've got, the man of 1,000 nicknames.
Chris Jericho? Oh no, he's the man of 1,000 holds. You must mean David Starr.
Correct. Who, interesting note, is the last Defiant heavyweight champion as well.
Ooh, nice.
Interesting note as well. But he has been an absolute, interesting podcast with We the Independents, especially with his goal, with what he's attending. In case anybody wants to check that out or wants to know what his goals are, please check out his podcast, which I'll pretty much just put, it's on Spotify, and of course I believe he's on iTunes as well, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, please check out Kayfabe Music UK for custom-made entrance music or custom-made music. And of course, please check out Turnbuckle TV, which is, we have already announced these. It's only $3.99 a month, £1 a week for great wrestling content. And of course, as always, please check out your local wrestling. Just for some examples, United Wrestling, Academy Pro Wrestling, Future Championship Wrestling, Fusion Pro Wrestling, who, if I'm not mistaken, did actually have a show last night, but unfortunately I was not in attendance for that show due to having a busy schedule. But if anybody is interested in checking out some of their results, because if I'm not mistaken, some shocking results happened on that night. We've also got Pro Wrestling for You as well, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Future Shock Wrestling,
ICW, GPW, PCW, whole alphabet soup of other indie promotions, Falling Star Wrestling.
Pretty much.
Essentially, wherever you are, you've got a wrestling company fairly close, I would imagine. So Google it, look them up, find out when their shows are, support them. Do your local wrestling a favour.
True. And as an extra bonus, I'm going to be mentioning another shout-out, which could actually resolve if anybody turns around and says, but I haven't got any local wrestling around me. I don't know where local wrestling is.
Something that can help people fix that. Fantastic.
Correct. Would you like to know?
What on earth is it?
You ready for this? You do know that you can download an app called Babyface Wrestling UK.
Can you? I did not know that. That is fantastic news. And what does that do?
You can actually go on there and get all content of local wrestling shows, as such. And, checking the areas, you can check on the areas, Manchester, Birmingham, and everything. But it hasn't just got that. It's also got a handy little feature where you can actually state it, you can actually present it, from your own location and actually do a radius from where you are on how far.
And find out what the nearest promotions are, how far they are away, etc. Oh, yeah. That sounds like a fantastic thing and something that someone should have come up with a long time ago. But bravo, whoever did. That is a genius bit of kit.
That would be a company organisation, which is I believe Turning Babyface, who actually came up with that idea. But the application is called Babyface Wrestling UK. It is an absolute amazing app that I can highly recommend. Because I even believe that we've even got Sugar Rush on there as well.
Ooh, I say. There you go.
Yes, you even mentioned about past shows. Of course, you can, just in case if you are a fan favourite of certain local wrestling, you can actually follow them on there. So then you can then get, basically get...
You can get updates of when the shows are on and what's happening at each and every individual place close to you.
Pretty much.
Which sounds pretty much perfect for every wrestling fan.
So if anybody turns around and says, I don't know where local wrestling is, I can't support it, you
no longer have any excuse.
Correct. And and
also one other thing, if you are going to sign up to Turnbuckle TV via the website, turnbuckletv.com, go via turnbuckletv.com/UKWA. If UKWA is your promotion of choice, because that would help UKWA
out
direct.
And just so you know, that Turnbuckle TV would still be getting paid as such as well.
Yeah, Turnbuckle TV get paid, but they put some of the money that they make back into the promotions what can only be described as a mutually beneficial situation.
So in actual fact, you'll also end up assisting improving your local promotions as well.
As well as, of course, giving Turnbuckle TV more money to persuade more companies to join. It's a virtuous circle.
And then you're also getting more content on the actual...
With every new company that joins, more shows, like I said, a virtuous circle. It can only improve things.
Correct. And if anybody wants to check out all the content that we actually have for The Burning Truth, we have the Burning Truth website, which is www.theburningtruthuk.com. As much as I can probably go through the list of things that's on there. There's no point in me mentioning. I don't be boring you. Just check out the website.
You know what's on there by now. Past episodes, all that usual good stuff. Check it out. Have a look for yourself when you've got a spare, I don't know, 3 weeks to listen to all the back episodes. I reckon that ought to cover it.
I think it'll be a lot longer than that potentially, because do take into account we've also got past broadcasts and interviews. But anyway, we digress, and we've also got show reviews, of course, on there. But we are digressing massively there. But anyway, let's just state that please check us out on social media. On Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and of course on Twitter, which the handle for the Twitter handle is a little bit different from the other social medias, which I'll spell it out for you, which is WRESLING4THWALL. And of course, we do actually have some past episodes on Spotify. Hopefully, we should be getting some more up-to-date episodes on there in the future, as such. And there could be some different ideas being potentially put on, in regards to for future broadcast episodes, but we'll most likely discuss them on a future episode. But with all that being already done and mentioned as such, I am going to state that is going to be a wrap-up for this week. Would you agree with that?
I would say we've covered everything we needed to and done it in spectacular style, so that seems like the perfect place to call it a wrap for this week.
Correct. So, of course, we're going to end our the show in our usual fashion. Please, everybody, stay well, stay safe. We'll hopefully catch you next week, as we will have an episode for next week, guaranteed. Just to state that. But let me just state this: please, stay well, stay safe, and as always, please check out your local wrestling. But until then, we'll catch you later.
Thanks for listening, and good night.
Good night.